Albert Einstein, a ghost story, and Jesus. What do these three have in common? That's what we're going to talk about today. It's Jim, y'all, and I help people just like you every day find peace, purpose, and prosperity. If that sounds like something you're into, I invite you to subscribe below, leave this video a like, and leave me a comment so I get to know you a little bit better. So what do these three have in common? Albert Einstein, a ghost story, and Jesus. Let me tell you, I've been reading a lot of David Hawkins lately. Hawkins has written some great books like Healing and Recovery and Letting Go. And he talks all about how our lives are really based around a scale. And I'll show you a little glimpse of it right here. This scale has to do with our emotions and our levels of emotion, as well as our belief system and our reality and the kind of energy we put out into the world and attract back to ourselves. And I'm learning that I run in the middle of that spectrum in a lot of my life. I used to run in a lot lower levels of emotion and energy, and I attracted so many other negative things because of that into my life. And it's a little too much to go into how this all works today, but all of us kind of operate at these different levels. And to go to the next level and the next level, and finally a level where we fully open our consciousness, our real us, up to everything that we can potentially be, and open, fully wide open to source, to God, and just a free flow of love and peace in our life and purpose in our life. To do that, we need to learn where we're at on that scale and make our way up to the next level. Now, how do we do that? I love what Albert Einstein said about this. He said the most important decision we make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or in a hostile universe. So what does Einstein mean by that? He means that your experience of reality is going to be determined by your perception of reality. The way you look at the world is going to determine the way the world reflects itself back to you. Hawkins in his book compares this to putting on tinted glasses, colored glasses, whatever colored glasses you put on. If you have lenses that have a color built into them, that is going to be your perception of the world around you. That's how you are going to see it. And this leads us to the ghost story. Back when I was a teenager, some friends of mine and I went out to this place called Regional Park back in Arkansas, and it was this massive, sprawling park-like environment. There was a motocross track there. There was like a lake, and this is where everybody went on the weekends to get on the water and have fun, lay on the beach, do all this stuff. But somebody told us that there was a thing called Black Dog's Ghost, because we had this Black Dog's Crafts Fair in this area that would come, and there was a ghost down there at the motorcycle track, the dirt track. So we went down there one night to see if we could see this ghost. And down at the center of the track, there was a little utility building where it kind of housed their stuff they needed to put on the races. And there was a little chain link fence around it. And as we drove down, we were probably a couple of 100 yards from this little building. And as we drove by, the people that had told us about this ghost said, here's where you want to look. And sure enough, we saw this shadowy, ghostly figure reflected on that building. That was the little utility building. And as we drove, it seemed to move. And it freaked us out. I mean, it looked so real and it looked so dark and shadowy, and we could not figure it out. Well, my buddy Matt had more courage, I guess, than any of us. And what would happen is we would drive down to where the little utility building was, and when we would get there, the ghost would disappear. It was gone. And we're like, oh, this is freaky. We're teenagers, not very smart. So Matt got enough courage that he let us drop him off. And we dropped him off down there by the utility building. And we said, now you stand here and we're going to drive back to where we can see the ghost. And as we drive, you tell us what you see. And he was freaking out. He was shaking with terror. And we get in the car, we drop him off, we drive down. And sure enough, we can see the ghost again. And we're freaking out. Matt, from his perspective, can't see the ghost at all. So we came back down to get him. And the more we looked and the more we kind of put the angles together, we were kind of nerdy also. We realized that there was a gas meter down there near the chain link fence that went around this little utility building with the lights that were shining on it, just the way they caught this gas meter, they reflected the shadow up through the chain link fence and onto the wall of this little building. And when you would drive by, that movement in the chain link made this shadow look like a man that was moving. And it was a freaky thing, but it was just an incorrect perception. And the truth is, what Einstein had figured out and Hawkins had figured out was the way you perceive your reality, that becomes your reality. So if you see your life as something that is never going to get better, it's never going to get better. If you see your life as something that has wide open potential, you have wide open potential. If you see this universe, if you see God, if you see Source as that force that wants to benefit you and give you a better life than you have, to give you the life of your dreams, the desire you have in you is for a reason. Whatever it is you desire in life, that's in you for a reason. And if you see a universe, a God, a source that lines up with that and wants to bring that reality about in your life, guess what? You've leveled up, and you're leveling up, and you're bringing a new reality into your life. You're going to experience what you see. So what does Jesus have to do with all this? Well, Jesus said it this way, and I want you to think about this because I looked at this verse in the wrong way for a long time. So in everything, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, what does that mean? I used to think that meant kind of a legalistic, structured, narrow view of all that is. If you want to be treated right, treat others right. Kind of a karma type experience, right? But the more you think about that, Jesus is saying whatever energy you put out, that is the energy you're going to attract back to you. Whatever you want in your life, put that out, and that is going to come back to you because you're going to put on a new pair of glasses, as Hawkins would say. You're going to look at the world in a new way. You're going to attract new things into your life. And Jesus even went on to say that all of the law and the prophets, the known scriptures of the ancient world for that Jewish religion at that time, all of that were summed up in that statement. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This is what it's all about, is what Jesus is saying. Putting out the energy you want to pull back in. And as you do that, I promise you, you're going to begin to change your life in dramatic ways. Now, if you want to take your life to the next level, I would highly encourage you to read this book on healing and recovery by Hawkins. In here, he goes into the scale of emotion and belief, and kind of there's a whole lot more to it than that, but where you are at on that scale right now and how to move to the next level and the next level till we fully surrender ourselves to full open consciousness that is just fully tuned in to who we're meant to be and who our highest self is and how to live there and stay there. This can change it all. Am I there? No, absolutely not. I'm working my way up the scale, but on Hawkins' scale, there's a negative side and there's a positive side. There's a side where we're trapped and there's a side where we're growing and moving. And for about the last year of my life, without knowing it, I've been rewiring my brain. I didn't even know about the scale at that time. I just knew I was sick of living the way I'd always lived. And I want to tell you, it's changed it all. I have moved to the positive side of that scale, and I'm leveling up little by little. And it's changing how I view the world. I've put on a new pair of glasses, a new way of seeing things, and it's absolutely transforming my life at every single level. And it can do the same thing for you. As you go back and pause the video for a moment and look at that scale, look at the emotions that it lays out there. Where do you feel like you are on that scale right now? Tell me in the comments. And if you'd like to change that, I'd like to help. Check out some of the other videos I have here because I talk about this kind of thing all the time. Today, I want to challenge you. Don't forget what Einstein, Jesus, and my ghost story all have in common. The way you perceive the world is the way the world will be for you.